we back for another episode. How you feeling today, man? We got two special guests, man. Want to introduce them?
So to the audience, once again, we're here for Off the Rip podcast. We talked about film and sports, but it's more personal this time right here because we had the two co-founders of the Philadelphia Youth Basketball, Eric Worley to my left and Kenny Holdsman. And with no further ado, I would like for both of y'all to introduce yourself to our viewers, to people that know about us, and we'll come to know more about the two of y'all.
Thanks, my man. I appreciate being here. This is great.
Yeah.
We are in the house that Eric and Kenny and many others built. Kenny Holdsman, I'm one of 5 co-founders of Philadelphia Youth Basketball. I serve as the organization's chief executive officer, but we are a quality team of many leaders. And I think what we've built is really significant, and we're excited to talk more about it.
Hey there, what's up, fellas? Appreciate the opportunity to engage with you this evening and have this conversation. I'm Eric Worley, one of the co-founders, along with my partner here to my right, Kenny Holdsman, here at Philadelphia Youth Basketball. And my direct role is serving as the vice president of basketball operations. So I really oversee all of our basketball-based programs that we facilitate here in the building.
Nice. So what inspired you all to create, the Philadelphia Youth Basketball? What was like, you got to do something. There's a word in Philadelphia basketball where we have to make that change.
Yeah, I guess I can jump in, with that one first. Kenny will probably know the exact day, time, and minute that we had this initial conversation, but it was well over 10 years ago. Kenny and I had the opportunity to meet in the basketball community. He was running a tournament for youth at William Penn Charter, and my basketball organization that I ran for a long time, Philly Triple Threat, was playing in the tournament. We was playing against his son's teams, Danny and Greg's team, and Kenny kind of took a liking to me, took a liking to the work that I was doing with young people. So he invited me out to visit him at his place of employment at the time, which was the Arthur Ashe Legacy Tennis Center, where he was leading that building. And when I went to go meet him there, just like most people in Philly, was familiar with Gustine Lake, but never really knew what Arthur Ashe Legacy Tennis Centers was, and I'd never been in the building. So the minute I walked into the space, I was just blown away, like, wow, this is pretty cool. Indoor tennis courts, outdoor tennis courts, classrooms, administrative areas. And the first thing I said to Kenny during one of our initial conversations, like, yo, this is cool, and no disrespect to people who play tennis, but why don't we have something comparable from a basketball standpoint? And then that first conversation, Kenny took that initial conversation and kind of went running from there.
The message that Eric conveyed in simpler words than what I'm about to say is, hold up, basketball in Philly is iconic. It's everywhere. There's zero cultural barriers, zero economic barriers. Yet we see all these organizations popping up around golf, tennis, squash, rowing, equestrian, fill in the blank, affluent person, white person, alternative sports. And they're great, but none of them are scalable. None of them have the array of caring men and women, very relatable to young people who have come up in very similar circumstances to be coach mentors, program leaders, board members, senior leaders, all of that. So the idea that Eric brought forward is, let's do something like bigger and better than what any sport-based youth development organization had ever done, levering up the game of basketball and the people of the game of basketball for holistic youth development purposes. And I bought that narrative hook, line, and sinker. I sat on it for a little bit, but next thing I know, it's Eric, it's Alvin, it's Doug Young, others. And we begin to put together a concept paper. And what do you do when you have something that you think is special? Is you shop it. You pull together meetings, and that's what we did. And so many people said, this is an idea worth doing. And then we pulled together a bigger table, and some people said, I like this idea so much that I'm willing to fill in the blank, be a board member, make a philanthropic gift So about 10 years and, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, we launched June 1st of 15. So we're now like 10 years and change running. And, that big dream, build a program, an organization, and a center that could help a lot of young people transform their lives. We're here doing it.
And it's funny at that launch, if I'm not mistaken, y'all had it at Cook. Remember?
We absolutely did.
I was at that
We
press
absolutely did.
conference.
So that was in the hood.
Yeah, it was in the neighborhood. Yeah, I was at that press conference. Y'all announced it. Yeah, so to see 10 years later be here.
December 2nd, 2015.
Here we go on the history.
Yep.
Either one of y'all can answer this question. How would you describe PYB's mission in your own words?
Yeah, I think at its essence, our mission is to help young people to self-actualize, to self-determine. And what we mean by that is to set goals, to have big dreams, and have the skills, the supports, the relationships, to go achieve those dreams. And so that's sort of at its biggest level is, it's a human development, youth development organization that doesn't stop, at athletic prowess, but everything else that kids need. Academic, intellectual, social, emotional, civic, vocational, individual development, community development, and
And
yeah,
about mental health development too.
mental wellness.
Mental
Yeah.
wellness, I'm sorry. Right. Right.
So yeah, we want to help young people thrive in all the ways that entails. And yeah, we care about quality basketball development, absolutely, but it's just not the end game.
And that's what Philadelphia, I think, being a product of Philadelphia basketball, that's what I think, just personally, you've been missing.
For sure.
Especially like my era coming up in the late 2000s, 2010s, it was just basketball. Basketball wasn't like, how are your mental health? How are you doing mentally? Like what the issues you deal with on a daily basis or what the proper nutrition, the proper food to eat before you go to college. Like you don't even know how to eat.
Yeah.
You're just eating Chinese food, fried chicken, pizza. Like that's not tailored for a student athlete at a high level diet. So what you guys are doing is super transformative and beyond the court. You teaching them how to network.
Yep.
We never learned how to network.
Yeah. I want to pick up on that point for a minute. We believe in this thing called social and emotional learning. And there's like a lot of attributes to that. It's grit and resilience. It's goal setting. It's managing one's own emotions. It's how to build positive relationships with peers and adults, like this networking that you're talking about. And it was amazing. Last night, I'm in here 6:30 to 7:30 having a conversation with a guy named John Jackson. Daughter's in one of our programs. He's the provost at Penn. Maybe no disrespect to Nova, but maybe the most distinguished university in our region. I walk downstairs with John Jackson, and who walks up to us? RJ Smith, high school senior, comes up to, hey, Kenny, good to see you. Hey, RJ, how you doing? I want you to meet my friend. Next thing I know, he's having a conversation with a really distinguished gentleman that I'm going to guess RJ is going to try to get to know him and enlist him to be in his network, in his world, whether you want to call it mentor, sponsor, ambassador,
Advocate.
And those kinds of things are key. Like one of the things I believe that middle class parents immediately get, young person says to you, son, daughter, whomever, I have an interest in fill in the blank, being a podcaster, being a pediatrician, being a video game maker. And you know what comes out of the parent's mouth? Oh, I know somebody who does that or owns a company that does that. Could I set you up with an internship, a conversation, a shadow day? Is what we now call social capital. And how it is that one accesses that, it's not innate. You need to be taught and shown. So we actually think that we can build, and we are building, such a high degree of social capital that anything a young person might want or need in his or her pursuit, we're like a phone call away. So how to replicate all those built-in supports and privileges that more connected, more affluent families have, we think we can do that for a massive amount of young people who might not have been born into families that have those kinds of resources.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hit it right on the nose. So with that being said, Philadelphia youth basketball, the impact in the city is tremendous. It's reaching corners that, I mean, for me, when I came along, I didn't know what it was. I was well, what's this? Like, I got a phone call from Chris, and he told me about the program and what was going on. I think I told both of y'all, had this building not exist, I'm still with y'all. I'm with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Powell kid. I'm an Island Eagles kid. I play Huntington Park, AAU. You know what I'm saying? Sunny Hill, Total Response. But to see what this is becoming, it's almost a little scary because I think this is going to be the best thing around, hands down, like around any state. Like, and I'm watching y'all work, and I know y'all do a lot, and I know people that's not even in this room do a lot. And so for me, the impact is tremendous. And how would you say, how many young people and staff does PYB serve annually? How would you think about that? Because that was my spill into the segment.
He probably has the numbers better than I do, but pre-center, I think we're at about 1,250 on an annualized basis. But now that we've loaded in all the center-based stuff, it's a good bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that number has probably doubled, right? I think you hit it on the nail, Drew. Like, it's interesting when we think about some of the things that, we all experienced as young people. And it's kind of like I look at PYB as like all of those things on steroids. Like, we have the facility, we have the resources, we have the, the skilled people that are actually youth developers helping, guide the young people that we serve. We all grew up in an era where, our coaches didn't get any training. They just coached us. They didn't, they didn't know, anything about youth development.
Right.
So I think the impact, to your point, I think the impact is major.
Right.
We do a good job of kind of really like tracking our numbers. And, we had to we definitely serving over 3,000 kids early, across all of our programs. And then that is just only speaking to the programs that we are responsible for, because in addition to the programs that we are responsible for facilitating, obviously we partner with a lot of other organizations, a lot of other youth serving organizations who just utilize our space and utilize our facility, whether it's for a league that they are running, whether it's for, a tournament that they're running, whether it's for a program that they're running. And whenever, entity comes into our building, you said a key word, partnership, right? We try to make sure that it is a partnership and it's not transactional. So whenever we can kind of engage any of our partners who are coming into our building with some other resources that we may have access to. A classic example of that, a most recent during the high school Philly Live a few weeks ago, we had one of the best, high school tournaments in the building during the live observation period, 200 plus teams between here and Jefferson, 150 to 200 coaches in the building across the weekend. But through one of our partners, we added a component where we had a recovery station, a nutrition station by a great partner that Kenny connected us with, and they came out and provided that service and recovery and nutrition education to the student athletes across the weekend for free. And that's typically a service that comes at a cost at other tournaments, but because of the connections, because of the relationships that we have, that is a great example of like the impact that we've been able to make. And then when we think about our staff, it's funny, I guess Kenny and myself and our former colleague Diana, we were the first three full-time employees of the organization back when we were down, in the basement of 1735 Market Street. And then I think now we're probably 45 plus full-time, staff members in our building. And then not to mention, the large number of part-time coach mentors like yourself, Drew, that support the young people and support the programs that we're running. So when you put those together, we're probably employing close to 100 people between our full-time and our part-time staff.
Wow. In just a little over 10 years, we
Yeah.
That's why I said it's scary.
Yeah.
That's why it's beautiful. Kenny, give the viewers a success story that you would call, like any kids that you probably came through the program that any stands out to you, like any success stories. Anybody? person?
Yeah. I mean, I'll share one that, Eric and I spoke about the origin story of PYB. I'll give you the origin story of Alan Horowitz and his involvement with PYB, and it'll bring me to the answer to your question, Drew. So, we had an amazing coach mentor. I don't know if you ever met him, but he was tragically murdered in Strawberry Mansion, a guy named Joe Daniels.
Okay.
And, it was in, December of 2018, about 2 weeks before Christmas. Left behind a 10-year-old boy in our program named Zaire. And next day I'm in the gym, and this guy says to me, like, Kenny, how you doing? Like, 9 times out of 10, hey man, what's up, man? How you doing? Like, he actually meant it. I said, I'm terrible. We just lost a beloved coach in our program, left behind a young son and a daughter, and wait right here. He runs out of the room and calls somebody, I didn't know whom, comes back in and he says, can you bring that young 10-year-old and about 25 PYB kids to the Sixers game on Friday night? I don't know. It was like 3 days away, and the young boy is grieving, and we tracked down the grandma, and sure enough, Zaire, who you might know because he's on the summer camp staff right now.
Wow.
He's probably 6'3". His pop was about 6'6", gentle giant. Zaire at 10 years old was devastated, like any of us would be. His dad was his best friend, his idol role model. And he has been in our program like 11 and a half months a year for the past 6 years. It's been amazing to watch him grow, but Alan ended up taking a real liking to this boy, and I didn't understand what was going on. And I said to Alan's business partner, Sixers game, Eagles Dallas game, taking our coaches out to eat with Zaire. What's this about? And what I learned is that Alan lost his father when he was 10.
Seriously, about identify what he was going through, the grief,
Yeah.
trauma.
And people think that Alan got involved with us because Sixers super fan and loves hoops, maybe like me a little bit. Nothing to do with that. It was all about common tragedy, connection, and wanted to get his arms around young Zaire.
It's powerful.
That was beautiful. Hey, how does PYB support and collaborate with local Philadelphia business and entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the great things about our organization that we've really, been intentional about is, supporting small businesses and supporting, Black owned businesses, so when you think about a lot of our vendors, even, a lot of the people who help, build this building and bring this, amazing space to fruition, a lot of times, a lot of that work was done with a lot of small businesses, and a lot of the work was done with like minority and or women owned businesses. So we absolutely kind of, hang our hat on that. That's something that our CEO, Kenny Holdsman, remains committed to and has always been committed to. And I think that has been really, really helpful. So everything from, the companies that we use for like accounting, everything from, people that we use for multimedia, video and photography, I think we've been able to, also help and springboard a lot of small businesses. As I sit here and look at the cameras, one of the things that immediately come to mind is our great partnership that we built with Immortal Visions. I know you're familiar with
CJ. Yeah, shout out to CJ.
He's
dope.
He was one of our initial small businesses. I remember when we first engaged with him and we did what we call, we did like a media day for our MSPP schools, and he did it in such a great way where he emulated like what college media days look like. And you should just have seen the looks on our kids' faces when they had the opportunity to get their photos taken with a backdrop and the props and all of those things. So that's just one of the examples that immediately comes to mind when you think about, how we've been supportive of small businesses. And, once individuals begin to, engage with us because of the ecosystem, because of the large network that we have. I think most businesses would kind of give us our kudos and say, hey, PYB has been helpful to kind of springboarding, some of our success and springboarding some of the growth in our business. But I know we've been very, very instrumental for a lot of the small businesses in and around our city.
Yeah, Joe, I would just build on that to say that we've had this commitment, as Eric said, from the jump.
Okay.
I mean, insurance brokerage, government relations, investment management, Black-owned businesses. I don't just mean T-shirts and hot dogs. I mean like real white-collar professions. Then comes George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, the country's racial awakening, and we only just double down after that. Pride Enterprises built this center. There had never been a minority-owned business of any kind that had soloed on a construction project bigger than $5 million. This was a $24.7 million total construction cost, a $45 million total project cost. And now, Pride is doing work on college campuses for hospital and health systems.
So it became a domino effect by y'all just giving that one opportunity.
Absolutely.
Springboard.
Smaller things like Tyree Wright building a basketball company, Not Right Basketballs. I think Eric bought 100 or 200. We started giving him a little bit of love on social media. Next thing we know, all these people, where'd you get a branded basketball? It's about making the table bigger. I think the quickest way to point out a phony on the racial equity front is you follow the money trail. If somebody espouses to be about racial equity and the staff suite, the boardroom, the vendor network is not the least bit integrated, and you follow the money trail, it says something. It's not the only way to have that commitment, but for us, it's one of about 5 or 6 actionable ways to demonstrate our belief that people of color, especially Black men and women building small businesses, need a shot.
No, that makes sense.
Well, I can say this to the next question. You answered it. The long-term effect of what y'all doing now, how the young people can get involved from, like, basically what you ran down. And also seeing the sponsors and things like that at the sneaker balls. You get to see the names who contribute, stuff like that. Stuff, I mean, no pun intended to any other place I worked at, but I never worked somewhere where they had a sneaker ball. I never worked somewhere where they sit in the email, you can attend the board retreat. Like these things open my eyes. I told Tony this too before he got over here from LA. I'm like, different, man. Because the conversation is different. High level conversations, you know what I'm saying? And it's good to have a conversation with your friends, but then some people that you don't know that don't know you. And kind of just seeing where, like you said, where the money's going, the transparency, it was, to me, I can't really wrap it up in just one sentence. But it's brilliant. It really is.
Thank you, Drew. I mean, the board retreat, we have 80 seats in our civic dialogue arena. That was like that in the classrooms. And we have 30 board members. If there are 50 unoccupied seats, why would we not invite any staff member who wants to come, immerse, learn, contribute? That for us, like pouring into the development of our young people, super important. You got to pour into the development of everybody on the staff team so they can learn and grow and even be more impactful. So for us, that's a bit of a no-brainer.
All right, let's transition a little bit now. Let's talk some little Philly basketball now.
All right.
I'm going to throw this question to you, E. What defines a Philly guard to you?
Ooh, Philly guard. What defines a Philly guard to me? First thing that comes to mind is tough. You know what I mean? Gritty. Handles.
Okay.
I think that's, definitely the first thing that, come to mind when I think about some of the Philly guards that, I was able to see kind of growing up, you know, Doug Overton, Randy Woods, you know, even down to you guys' generation. I've been following, you know, Philly basketball for a really, really long time. But I think those are absolutely the, you know, the things that immediately come to mind, just tough, gritty, and, you know, a kid with some handles.
Guys, you want to add anything on to that, Karen?
I would add one thing. I think a lot of the really good Philly guards, they never get rattled.
Some composed, like poised.
Composed,
and
you know,
poised. Yeah, that's true.
if they get, you know, their pocket picked or they take a charge, but it's called a block. Like you never see good Philly guards go off on a ref, go off on a teammate. Like that just doesn't happen.
That's a great observation. I never thought about it like that. Just think about all the great guards, like even the ones that play at a high level, whether elite or college. You don't see them get rattled, whether it's like a Kyle or a Cat. Alvin Williams. Alvin Williams is a perfect example. I never seen Alvin Williams like get rattled.
Always look the same.
Yeah, he
always look the same.
I mean, like,
Always look
are
the
you,
same.
Are you
Have you handled? Are you saying?
Yeah, you know,
Are you having a good game? Or are you having?
It's just like just like the poker face. Like that's a great observation. I never thought about that. Go ahead, answer the next question.
Oh, well, no, that's okay. I was going to chime in a little bit.
No, go ahead, chime in.
No, I was saying I wanted to actually give a shout out to somebody that I found out today was part of the Speed Boys, Coach Eric.
Eric
Williams.
I didn't know.
Eric Goodens.
Whole time we working together.
Yeah.
But his leadership down there, it resonated what he said. And he said, I said, he said, I went to West Philly.
Yeah,
I said, that's the Speed Boys. I know old head of mine that works for something. He played before the Speed Boys. West Philly, Daryl Green.
Oh, Eric Williams. So working with our early years.
It's just like I said, from hearing that, his demeanor is like that poise, the way he handles himself when he's, calling shots with different groups and all that. But who are your top 5 Philly basketball players of all time? I know
On the
it's a
spot.
Your
top 5 though. You don't have to be objective. Just top 5 though.
Yeah, just top 5.
You mean who we like the most or who we think is the best?
Who you like the most? Yeah, who you like? Who you like the most?
Well,
top 5? Because
we talking pros, right?
No, it don't have to be pros.
All right.
I'll give you 2. And part of this is that my mom spent half of her career at Simon Gratz, which is how I know Ellerby. You go to Gratz games in the early 90s and you see Aaron, and then you see Reds and Rashid and Leonard. So I don't know if they're the most talented. She'd maybe in that group, but just the quality of program, the quality of people. That was like, I grew up in Cheltenham. Now there was only a couple of miles north. It was in the suburbs.
right.
My first real city basketball games were, going to see Jason Lawson battle with Sheesh. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would be able to pick a top 5. You know what I mean? That's a tough one. I mean, I think if I'm just thinking about like on a professional level, just thinking about just pros who played in Philly, not necessarily from Philly. So just thinking about, the legendary Sixers. I mean, obviously Wilt would be, you know what I mean, on the top of the list. Then, AI would have to be, Love. Then, I would have, Barkley. Then I would have Doc, I remember, it's funny, I shared this story in a meeting. I remember that was the first time I cut school was to go to the parade when the Sixers won, back in 82, 83. And then obviously, as Kenny mentioned, just all of the legendary high school basketball players. I'm the class of 93. So I came out the same year as Rashid and all of those guys. So, just thinking about, the all city team that year, 93, I believe it was was Alvin Williams, was Jason Lawson, Mark Jackson, and Tyrone Weeks, so I have the argument with folks all the time. Like, I always believe that the class of 93 was the best, class, of high school basketball coming out of our city. Out of those 5, I believe, I think 4, you count Jason Lawson. I believe all 4 of them, went to the league. I don't think there's any other class.
Was Colson on that class too?
Colson was the year before, I believe.
92.
Yeah, I think Colson might have been the year.
Colson went to Gratz.
Colson
With the FLC.
Yeah. So I just think, it's hard to just, identify 5 just because we have so many great players. But that class of 93, I think, was amazing.
Okay. So what were some of the most iconic Philly leagues, growing up in you guys' era? when you was coming up and hooping in the city?
Oh man, I'm an uptown guy, grew up, Waterview Playground, Germantown. Again, like I said, class of 93. So I had the great privilege of, being engaged in some amazing leagues that was ran by some amazing men. Kenny just mentioned Coach L. I grew up at Waterview Recreation Center, but Coach L worked right up the street at Belfield Recreation Center, where Total Response League went and ran. Kevin Rockmine and Coach Bill all ran that league. Coach Calvin, who coached us back Waterview. So I believe Total Response League was amazing as a young person, great talent, great league that brought the city together. Then that transitioned to the Positive Image League, which was also a great league. And then, of course, we'd be remiss without mentioning the Sunny Hill League. You cannot come up in Philly basketball and not, say that you either played in the Sunny Hill League or you sat in the stands at McGonigal Hall and watched all the great action in the Sunny Hill League. So I had the opportunity to both play in the Sunny Hill League and was just a fan and a spectator, whenever I could. Would hop on the subway and, ride on down to McGonigal Hall and could just spend the entire day there watching all of the great basketball. And then I think the last thing would be never actually played in the 16th and Susquehanna League, but had the opportunity to be also a great fan and a spectator of that amazing league. And just to see, some of the individuals that grew up playing in the city transition as adult basketball players and create that amazing platform down there at 16th and Susquehanna, was pretty cool too.
What made that league so special? You hear so many great things about 16th Street and the run it had, like in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. What separated like 16th Street from other street ball programs in Philly and other places?
I think just the crowd and the energy, I think you think about I think that's the closest thing that we've had that really kind of replicated some of the things that was kind of going on in New York City. You had folks, climbing on the gate, sitting on top of the gate. You had folks, really packing the sidelines till you really had no room. And then obviously the talent when you had some of the greats that, people didn't have the opportunity to maybe see during their prime. So for me, somebody like a Sad Eyes, we have always heard the stories of Sad Eye, but I'd never seen him as a high school player. But then to kind of see him as an adult, it's man, this dude is really good. He's a player. Seeing folks like Hot Rod, it's interesting, Hot Rod referees in our program quite a bit. And I was kind of telling some of the young people yo, that guy reffing right there, he had, some of the best handles, around. They're like, no, not him over there. I'm like, yo, only if y'all was to, kind of Google him and look up some of his things, look up some of his videos. So I think just the atmosphere that was created there and for it to be smack dead in the middle of the hood, and for it to be right where it was at in the middle of North Philly, and, probably in today's, generation, probably not many people will feel comfortable, feeling safe going out there. But as a young person, when that was going on, never once did I think, oh, I can't go down 16th Street because I'm going to be concerned about anything going on. It felt like the community. You felt, the energy was positive. And then, of course, the basketball action was pretty dope and pretty amazing.
No, that makes sense.
So if I had to even just add in just a little bit just for you, the context, 16th Street had personality. And if a league, something like that had it, or could have it was that like you said, just everything that came with it, the aura, just when you walked in there. I rode my bike there, but just everything that was going on there, it was like the big stage. It's really like the big stage. And I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? So it was a big stage.
Got to give a shout out to our guys that's running the Lonnie Young Summer League. When I, think about, as I'm sitting here thinking about 16th and Susquehanna, we actually just hosted those guys in here last night. One of the value adds that we've been doing to the basketball community recently, is with the weather that's going on in our city right now. And it's been raining quite a bit, with the District Council 33 strike and the rec centers are closed. We've been allowing a few of the outdoor leagues to come into our building to be held here. So for the past 2 weeks, the Lonnie Young Summer League has come into our space. But again, as I've been reminiscing and thinking about 16th and Susquehanna, I think that some of the action that's going on now is very, very similar. So you get that type of energy, if you, get out there to the Lonnie Young Rec Center for some of the action that's going on out there. You know, we talk about the transfer portal on the college level. You know what I mean? It's the transfer portal on the high school level. You know, shout out to, you know, our guy, brother Andre over at Imhotep. He has a phrase that, you know, like the culture never dies, like culture never graduates, because he believes that he, you know, builds a culture. When they're playing here at Philly Live, you see years of alumni that are coming back watching Imhotep play. They're behind the bench, they're cheering their guys on because they've built and they've created that culture because they have a significant number of 4-year guys, you know. So like you said, for you to say that you know, went to one high school, Newman Goretti, 4 years straight, great career, had great success. Those type of things don't happen, you know, in today's culture and climate, because, you know, soon as, you know, they go to a school and not playing, you know, as a freshman, oh, I ain't make varsity at Newman, they put me on JV, or I'm out, I'm transferring over here, you know. So
yeah, it seems like they're running when they run through adversity now.
Without a doubt.
That's sad, man. That's definitely really unfortunate. All right, now we're gonna get into the film section of it. I'm gonna start with you, Kenny. What makes a great movie in your eyes?
For me, it's the emotional pull of the storyline and of the characters. I'll give you an example, maybe an old head comment. Remember the Titans.
Classic.
Love the storyline, love the characters, and I was just riveted by the people in the film, the story of the film, and the overlay of the American Civil Rights Movement. You give me emotional pull and historical context, I can't pull away from it. And a lot of those movies I've seen 4, 5, 6 times.
I think the characters, you know, I think, you know, what draws me to movies is, like, you know, the characters that are playing the certain roles. And then I think the second thing would be like the storylines. You know, it has to be something that, you know, I'm interested in, you know. So like, it's, I know one of the upcoming questions is around like sports movies. So obviously being a sports guy, you know, I'm more kind of, you know, interested in like sports movies and things that, you know, I'm attracted to. So I think it would be, you know, like the characters and the actors or actresses in the movies, and then just kind of like what the content of their storylines are.
Okay. Let me ask y'all this. Who's your favorite movie?
Mine would be, Kenny just mentioned it actually. It's funny, when I was reading through the questions, I wrote some notes down when I hit those questions, but I said, yo, I want to make sure I don't miss out on the movies that I like. I think mine would be either Coach Carter or Remember the Titans. You know, 2 sports movies, 2 coach movies. Kenny heard me say this, you know, quite a bit. You know, one of the things that, you know, I'm fondest about, that brings me the most joy, is when, like, I'm just known as Coach E, you know. So like, you know, just kind of seeing, you know, the power and the impact that coaches can make on the lives of the people that, you know, they coach. You know, obviously education and coaching has been, you know, my life's work. So those 2 movies always resonate with me because of the coaching characters in both of those.
I say the comedy I like the most, 48 Hours.
It's a classic.
You give me Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. I mean, classic combination. I like a lot of the, you know, Ben Affleck stuff. You know, the Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie up in Cambridge.
Oh man, the Shepherd.
Sorry?
Shepherd.
No, Good Will Hunting.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic film.
Good Will Hunting. The Robin Williams movie, Dead Poets Society.
Ooh, that's
Loved
that
it.
movie.
I think movies where you've got people trying to find themselves, like high school kids, college dropouts, you know, like Matt Damon trying to find his way in Good Will Hunting. Like, for me, I really like those stories about identity, struggle, pushing up against power and against the system. Yeah, there's some grip there for me.
Sounds like a real good storyline. Do any quotes from y'all movie stand out? Like any quotes, anything that y'all recall that y'all either wrote down or repeat to yourself, you know, on a kind of daily basis? I don't know, or just whenever. I know some lines in movies just come to me all the time because I'm a movie guy. You know,
Eric is way more deeply involved in our program than I am. For better or for worse, like more of my day to day is externally faced, and I have a large part of a fundraising, fund development obligation here. And so it's taken a lot of people to get this center built. With that, Rod Tidwell showed me the money.
Mm.
You get a lot of people will tell you, man, what you guys are doing is amazing. I saw this center. I was there during programming. It popped. It was magical. And you know what I'm thinking? You're making me feel good. Come on now, show me the money.
Didn't Jerry Maguire say that too? In his movie? You guys have seen Jerry Maguire?
He said that to Jerry.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding.
Cuba Gooding said that to Jerry
That's right.
Maguire. Yeah, like, show me the...
Yeah, like
yeah.
I'm getting my head beaten in. I'm coming across the middle. Yeah, I need a contract.
Oh, like, hey, you got any memorable quotes?
I don't think any quotes, but just a scene from Remember the Titans that just always sticks out is when, you know, the two players that were beefing came together during the practice, and it was like strong side, you know, weak side, you know, and then they kind of really brought like the entire group together. So for me, that just always kind of reminds me of like the power of sports, where it doesn't matter of, you know, what color you are, white, black, blue, purple, whatever the case may be, you know, you're on the field together, on the court together with your brothers, and it's always moments in sports that can kind of unify people. So that was just a scene from that movie that always sticks out.
Kind of go into the next part where we talk about, no, I'm sorry, going to the next part, which is real fast. This is going to be fast, but I know that'll work with me. Rapid fire session where we just kind of ask you some questions. Calling you out, she will let me out. Did the Sixers make the right move for drafting VJ Astro?
Absolutely.
Why?
Defense first, willing defender, team guy, long, sinewy, rugged. I don't think we really had that piece.
Can I play double advocate on my... Sure. So you take that player over the guy who's the most talented player in the draft, in Ace Bailey?
I look at bodies of work.
Mm.
And I think there's a number of freshmen in college basketball that maybe played in 20, 25 games.
Mm-hmm.
Too small a body of work. We drafted a point guard who I think had played 8 games and found out he had,
folks, right?
and found out he had the yips, right? That I think all too often we get hung up on body type, name ID, what people say, but I just think bodies of work speak for themselves, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one, right? I hope it works out. You know what I mean?
We all hope. Sixers fan, by the way.
We hope it works out, and we made the right pick. Obviously, his first. So Kenny would just ask me about it. We watched Summer League. Obviously, his first game out, Summer League. You know, what I mean, he looked really impressive. But I think I'm with you, Tone. I mean, you know, I'm mad that Ace Bailey was advised the way that he was advised during the process and didn't go and work out with teams. You know, but I think he's a very, very intriguing prospect with his size, length, his athleticism. You know, I think that he would have been a really, really good fit for us. So if I was sitting in the GM seat of the Sixers, I might have did the same thing that Utah Jazz did. Like, you know, I don't care if you came to work out. I'm going to take, and we're going to figure it out.
Because Danny Ainge, like, talent prevails. You know, he had that mentality. So, but no, I agree with you, though, Kenny. VJ Ashton has a lot of great intangibles, and, you know, I definitely think he can make an instant impact on the defensive end right away, because that's what we missing, a defender at a high level from the perimeter position on our team.
And by body of work, and I get that Rutgers was sort of a middle of the road program. You have 2 elite players, you probably should be able to win some more games.
Sure.
In a conference that 12 or 13 of them got into the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought they underachieved a little bit.
What they said? Nice player.
What's the selling for the Sixers team next season?
Say it again.
What's the selling for the Sixers team next season?
Depends on how healthy we are. You know, so I think it absolutely depends on how healthy you are, starting with the big fella. you know? So, I think we go as he go. And then obviously second behind that would be, you know, the health and the productivity of Paul George, you know? So I think healthy, I think we're a really, really good team, just like everybody thought this season. But if we're not healthy, then I think we're middle of the pack.
Let me ask you a question though. When do you make that decision? Like, is it worth keep going down this route of building around the big fella, considering that he's been here, almost like 8-9 years now, close to, and, you know, we still haven't gotten over that hump yet. Like, when do you make that decision that if you was a GM or in that position, like, yo, I think we should move in another direction and probably build around Max and maybe a little more durable and younger?
For sure. I think this year is going to be it. You know what I mean? I personally think if we, you know, have a duplication of what we had this past season, if he doesn't, you know, show that he's able to, you know, sustain across the entire season, then I think, you know, they're going to have some tough decisions to make.
I'm an Embiid fan. Mural downstairs on court number 2. His younger sister is a friend of mine, a tennis partner. If Joel can get to like 90-95% peak performance,
we're a good team.
I think we're a team that can make noise in a Eastern Conference.
It's wide open.
Boston, big steps back. I think the Knicks are going to take a couple steps backwards.
Pacers too. Don't forget Pacers. Tyrese done the whole East.
Yeah.
And Miles Turner, you let her walk for nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
The East is wide.
I mean, teams like Orlando and Detroit are going to be making noise. That shows you how wide open the East is, right?
Can the Eagles make another run for the Super Bowl?
Ooh.
The team is loaded. Loaded personnel inside of a great system with good culture.
Yeah.
Keyword culture.
I mean,
keyword.
And young guys, like, who knew a year ago the name Cooper DeJean? He may end up being an all-pro D-back, right? I mean, everybody knew, you know, how good the backfield was going to be. That was pretty clear. I mean, everyone knew Saquon was a stud. I underrated our quarterback. Jalen Hurts has more leadership and better decision making. Like, I knew he could run and throw, but the leadership and decision making just got better and better through the season.
So he embodies that mentality you talked about, Philly guard. He's poised.
Yeah.
He never get rattled. Even when he get like 3 sacks, he get a fumble, like, he never gets rattled. That's the thing I love about his game the most.
Yeah. And the Eagles are good on both sides of the offensive and defensive line. Like, that covers up a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely do. I think the Eagles just take on the Philly mantra, that grit.
That dog, like
I watched that game seeing it up.
I was in LA at a lounge, literally around all Kansas City Chiefs fans. I'm the only Eagles fan yelling.
Wow.
That must let a good feeling.
Oh my God, one of the best feelings in the world, just yelling.
And I can honestly admit, like, you know, I've converted into like a bigger football fan over the last few years. Because of the Eagles' success. And, you know, when hearing things like the culture of the team, you know, being able to, you know, appreciate the poise and the leadership of the quarterback, the one who's, you know, leading the team. And then just kind of seeing what the energy around the Eagles does for our city. You know, I kind of laugh at with some of the colleagues where, you know, like the work week following Eagles win or loss is really, really important. It's like Monday and Tuesday is amazing after an Eagles win, but like Monday and Tuesday can be terrible if the Eagles lose. So, you know, I think that the Eagles, you know, were a great team last year, and to a lot of the points that you all have made, you know, they've added some pieces to still be really, really good on both sides of the football, which, you know, usually doesn't happen, you know. So I know it's tough to kind of repeat, but I think that, you know, Eagles is in a good position to, you know, put themselves in the driver's seat again in the NFL.
We had a big Eagles culture guy here a couple weeks ago. Big Dom.
I just seen him in the airport coming into Philly.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of teams have, I don't even know what his job is. Is it like security or, but to have somebody like that be fundamental to like the connective tissue of all the players and all the personnel, the staff, it's pretty cool.
I just think with the Eagles, man, it's the synergy, like you said, like I was on a plane ride from Miami coming back here, back to Philly. I sat next to the owner of McGurk's Pub, right out there in the Montgomery County. He owned about 8 of them. Wouldn't believe he was the owner. He said next to me, "I'm man, cool, yeah." But great conversation. But he started in one of his first restaurants in Baltimore. So, of course, he got to know the Baltimore fans. And what he was doing for some time, he was bringing the Baltimore fans to the Eagles game. They play one every 4 years to rotate, home, away. He had to explain to the Baltimore guys that the Eagles fans don't piss them off. They thought they could. One guy got knocked out. It's just really like the passion that we can. Like, it's like when you see it, it's like everything we talk about. The point guard, the summer league, the PYB, like it's a grit to this. Like it's spooky new up there, what Lancaster and all that. I mean, but it don't have what this has. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that Eagles thing, that Philly thing when it's rolling, like y'all say, it's rolling. You can see it because we real fans. You know what I'm saying? I got some friends right there in Lippincott. You know, I would tell you about Lippincott Stadium. They got the bus. They come to the games. They grill on the park. They do everything about the Eagles and about Philadelphia sports.
It's serious. Best wings in the city.
You know who Eric's favorite college football team is?
I don't know, but
Norfolk State.
They cover the player in the lane. They cover the player in the lane.
in the first, well, not the first, but when we won the Super Bowl in 2017, a neighbor up my street watching the grow up. I said to him, you know, he watched the game. Him and his brother passed away. He watched the game on the radio. He listened to it. They didn't watch it because he was too nervous about what happened past. The next day I said, "Hey, Will, what's going on? You good?" He said, "I'm good, man." But with that look on his face, like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. No matter what happens.
Yeah.
And this was in 2017. He said, "I'm good, Drew."
Yeah.
The way he said that to me, I said, "Oh, yeah."
That's what I'm gonna feel when the Sixers win a championship.
Hey,
You guys probably experienced it. I ain't experienced it yet.
So yeah, that was just me, speaking to that. Why are Philly top hoopers not come into none of the Big Five schools, y'all know?
I think there's a couple of reasons. I think one is the desire to be in a big, well-resourced, leafy campus.
Okay.
Which is why you see like Maryland, but a couple hours away.
Okay.
Getting a lot of quality Philly players last few years. Sadly, I think the NIL situation outside of, I'm going to say either Villanova or maybe Villanova, there's not one other Philly school that has the ability to raise real NIL money. So, like, Aaron McKee gets to Temple University, and people are like, oh, you know, Blue's going to get amazing. The cream of the crop of Philly is now coming to Temple. If Aaron McKee could not recruit at Temple, I don't know who can.
Facts.
And like, that's the middle of Broad Street. That's like the Mecca of Philadelphia. Who wouldn't want to be playing on Broad Street?
Yeah.
So it's like, but what about some of those guys that may not, I know it's the NIL is one factor of it, but what about some of those mid-tier guys that may not be like top 75, top 100, but they still really good high school players? I feel like this Big Five schools are missing out on some of those guys too as well.
Yeah. I think they are. You know, I think I agree with, you know, the two things that Kenny just mentioned. You know, I think part of it is, you know, the desire of our young people to get out of Philly, you know, and some of the crime and some of the things that are happening in our space doesn't help, you know, like as a father of a college age kid, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable with sending my daughter to Temple University right now and having her walking the streets of North Philly to go into her apartment, go into the gym or go into the store, you know. So I think a lot of that probably factors in, you know, just kind of the physical space that a lot of our universities are situated in. And then obviously just the business of basketball right now with the NIL, you know, like right now, people are just making business decisions. They're not going through the process like they used to back in the day, going to visit the school, going to build a relationship with the coaches, you know, trying to, you know, gauge the temperament of the players on the team.
Gotcha.
It's like, oh, how much is your NIL? How much is your NIL? How much is your NIL? And they're making decisions really based off of the dollar amount at this point. I don't think all of the other factors that were important to college players in the past really is a thing right now because of the NIL.
Yeah.
And the transfer portal.
Yeah.
If you look at Penn, I think 3 of their 4 best players in the last 5 years have transferred. And watching Ivy League and Patriot League schools become farm systems for mid-majors and high majors is crazy to me. I mean, somebody to walk from Penn, I mean, the ability to monetize that degree over time
It's more important than NIL money. It's the relationships. And I think it's going to affect the NCAA tournament. Like, you guys watched all the tournament this year. Who was the sleeper team in March Madness?
None.
There was none.
Because
We're not going
the players are the see no more. So we're not going to see a St. Peter's upset like a North Carolina. We're not going to see that.
It can't happen because the talent disparity is so great.
Yeah.
Right? That if there was real talent at a St. Peter's, a Maryland, Baltimore County, Loyola, Chicago, most of those players are going to bounce by the end of freshman year, maybe sophomore year. So it's not as though you got this loaded team of all seniors who are going to go sneak up on a team with 18 and 19-year-olds in a 2-15 game. The talent disparity is too wide, you know?
No, I agree. I definitely agree.
So, in this part of this episode, we like to say
Track ball session.
track hawk, or who you like. This is that. Give out some from things you might like to eat to things of things you like to eat to people or places, things like that. So, though, Ray, I'm gonna pose the question. Just give me your answer. The movie Rocky or Creed?
Rocky.
Rocky.
Same.
Same. Okay. Carmelo Anthony or Bernard King?
Mello.
Oh, Bernard King?
Yeah. I mean, just because, I didn't experience Bernard King. And I just remember Melo's Syracuse run as freshman. And that was, just very, very great to see. And just appreciate all the things that he has done post-playing career also. So I think Melo for sure for me.
Kenny?
Same. Yeah. Super skilled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheesesteaks or hoagies?
That's a compliment. For me, it might be both. Yeah. Where do you vote? But
The same sitting.
if I had to pick one, I would go both. Cheesesteak in the winter, hoagie in the summer. Okay.
Cheltenham guy. Lee's hoagie.
Hoagie guy, yeah.
I'm hoagie first.
Hold it first.
Yep.
All right. John Calipari or Rick Pitino? Taking on the coach.
Similar careers, too.
Can you flip the question and say which one do you like least? So look,
Okay.
I went to Temple Law School during the years of Cheney and playing UMass when they had like Marcus Camby and Travieso and Padilla.
Yeah, guard play.
I mean, the way that Coach Cheney and Calipari battled and hated each other, Coach Cal in my world is like Pitino. He's had a ton of success, like a little slick for my liking. You know what I'm saying? Not a fan of either.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, hey, good.
I think the same. Really not a super fan of either one, but if I had to pick one, just because most recent memory, I've mentioned earlier we hosted Philly Live here a couple weeks ago, and John Calipari was in the building recruiting. Yeah. So he was probably
Showed up.
Was the one of the biggest coaches in the building. So he got a bunch of attention, a bunch of energy. A lot of parents and folks was trying to, engage with him and take photos and all that. Like, oh, this Calipari over there. So I would just say that just because it's on top of mind.
Okay.
Andy Reid or Bill Belichick?
Ooh.
I go Big Red.
Yeah.
Over Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
Wow. You too?
Yeah, same here.
My reasoning is And look, I'm a big Pat Mahomes fan, and Belichick, with all of his Super Bowls, had elite talent. I'm not certain Andy Reid had talent at the level that the Patriots had during the Belichick era.
It's comparable. You don't think so? At the skill positions, Gronk, Travis Kelce, Brady,
Yeah,
Mahomes.
I'm not certain in the linebacker, D-line, O-line. I think the Patriots, like the number of Pro Bowl players that they had for multiple years, crazy.
Especially in cornerback.
Yeah.
They got some they might got a couple
Hall of Fame quarterback.
Great cover guys.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yep.
They beat Seattle
Mm-hmm.
in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Lowry or Earl Monroe?
Sadly, I've seen so little Earl Monroe video. I've seen Kyle play since he was a junior at Doherty. So I've probably seen him play for 25 years, I'm guessing. And I will say this, and he's spent a lot of time in the center. I don't know if there's anybody from Philly who has had a more distinguished career without elite body type and elite athleticism.
Can I intervene? You don't mind? Well, you know, Earl Monroe is kind of similar body type, and he's the top 50 greatest player ever.
Is that right?
That's what the comparison?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's the basketball junkie Andy right there. That's that beat that you junkie stuff right there.
And they got the same bat. And he won a championship. Earl Monroe won a championship.
Yeah.
People forget that. Similar body type to Kyle Lowry. That's why
Yeah.
I made that comparison.
Kyle just signed a contract yesterday. I think it's his 20th NBA season.
Just crazy.
Which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I think I definitely would be biased and have to say Kyle,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just because he's someone that, you know what I mean, we've all had the opportunity to see, you know, kind of grow up in the game of basketball and the success that he's been able to have, you know, given his, you know, physical body type and be
Overachiever.
and
Yes.
being highly decorated. I think, you know, we had this debate quite a bit. I mean, he's absolutely the most distinguished, you know, professional basketball player out of our city. I mean, I don't think there's anybody close with, you know, NBA championship, gold medal, all-star, success at college on the Nova level. And then again, just biasly, you know, just being able to see it up close and personal, him at, you know, Doherty and, you know, starring there and around the I mean, he was at Northeast before Doherty. So out here to see him even as a Northeast High player. I was coaching at Central High School and we actually played them at LaSalle, like in a playoff game or something before he transferred over to Doherty. And no disrespect to any of your Newman Goretti teams, but, you know, I always remember Cardinal Doherty. I was just that team that they had for them.
They were loaded.
I'm like,
They
man,
never got it done though, East. They never got it done.
that was that.
He never got it done. Make sure you mention that.
They
They never
won
got
Catholic
the complete championship. They never won.
How many do you have?
I got 2. Well, we have 2, not me. I have, and then my last 2 years, we didn't lose a game in Philadelphia.
Yo, fun fact for you would appreciate this. We have Troy Harper who works here.
I love Troy. Great kid. Yeah, that's
When he told me that he won 4 Catholic League championships,
Yeah.
I was floored.
Their
I'm
class did it. No other class in
I'm
Catholic
like-
history ever did
They
that.
won the city championship too?
No, they didn't win 4 city teams. They won 4 Catholic League straight.
I had to like fact check that because that shorty was lying.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you did what? I'm like, yo, you might be the only person walking the streets of the city that can say that he won 4 Catholic League championships. I think that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Right, because he overlapped with Jaquan Newton.
It was in the same class.
They were in the same class.
Oh, him and Jaquan same class.
Yeah.
Got it.
So they came in the year after I left.
After you left.
Yeah.
Got it. So they just carried it
Yeah,
on.
so we won 2, and then they added on 4. That was 6 in a row.
Wow.
No, not including what came before that.
Yeah, not including. Yeah, that's just in that little time period. That's 6.
They ran off. Yeah, great.
Yeah, we was number 2 in the country. We were 1 basketball away. We lost to Jack Yates from Houston, Texas. Joseph Young played for the Pacers like a few years ago. We were 1 shot away of being the number 1 team in the country. We lost them in the wire, national championship game.
We'll go to the big fella question. Will Chamberlain or Shaquille O'Neal?
Well,
Oh, I gotta call y'all out. Y'all ain't see Wilt play either. How you say you ain't see Earl Monroe play, but you ain't see Wilt play? Wilt was older than Earl Monroe.
film. Yeah.
You must have talked to Claude most.
I'm about
No, I
to
didn't
say.
talk. You know what I talked to? So my dad played for Wilt Chamberlain teammate Vince Miller. Remember?
Yep, I know Vince.
Yeah, so he used to tell me stories about Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, he used to always school me about Wilt Chamberlain. But I'd say Shaq. Shaq the most dominant player ever in my mind.
Really?
Yeah. If Shaq was in shape, just imagine Shaq took care of his body in the offseason. The Lakers would have probably won 5 or 6 championships straight.
I can believe that.
He would come in 30 pounds overweight. He got to use half the season to get in the clean shit.
Yeah. That's a tough one. That's a tough question. I mean, that's a tough. I think that's a very, very tough comparison. But I got to rock with the hometown guy. Got to go with Wilt. You know what I mean? Our good friend Olin Chamberlain would be mad at us if we didn't say Wilt. But although I didn't have the pleasure of watching him play, but just seeing how athletic he was at that size. Like you say, Shaq coming in out of shape. Wilt probably never looked like he was out of shape. You know what I mean? So I would go with Wilt.
Then you got to remember what Shaq said. He said that recently. He said, he got to LA. He's at a restaurant. That was Kareem.
Kareem don't ever speak to him. He said, it was like one of the podcasts, someone like, Kareem will just walk past me, going to acknowledgement. Said that just pissed me off. I had to win 3 straight. Then he started shaking my hand and receiving it. So
that's wow. That's for you. So we're going to kind of bring this beautiful conversation to an end by going into our closing reflections. What's the one lesson you hope every young person takes away from PYB?
I would say this. I think that being a part of a community that pushes you and supports you and lifts you up is critically important to a happy life and a successful life. Nobody can do it on their own.
Wow. I think in similar fashion, one of the, quotes that always sticks with me is like, your network determines your net worth. And I feel like we are putting our young people in such an amazing, amazing position to really grow and expand their networks. Their networks. So I think if we continue to do that, then I think we're going to produce a significant amount of young people that are going to be, just rich in life.
Okay. What do you see PYB 10 years?
Well, hopefully in 3 years, we're going to have our next project done right next door, which is going to be a generator of career development and economic opportunity. So we're going to hook together the youth development with workforce and career development all around, a campus of opportunity and mobility. So I think in 3 years that'll be built. I think it's going to take 5 years to have that new project in this center just humming at great optimality, sustainable facilities used 12 plus hours a day. I
think for me, in the next 5 to 10 years, I think PYB has the potential to be like a national model where we can, take our show on the road and what we've built on and off the court, what we've built organizationally, what we've built programmatically, I think could be a value add to other urban cities. And I think once the world kind of sees what that comes out of the work that we've done, I think folks will begin to ask like, hey, can y'all come and show us, how can we build, insert whatever major urban city? How can we come and build that in our city? So I really think that we will have the potential in the next 5 to 10 years to take the show on the road and expand and create and help other cities build a similar model in their city.
Any final thoughts or anything coming up that the people need to know that you guys have going on, whether PYB or any of your personal endeavors?
I think just for those who don't know, like that we're here, I think, although it's been a year since the building has been open, because we're tucked away, behind, off of Wissahickon Avenue, folks drive up and down Wissahickon and may not even know that we exist. I just would encourage, everybody in our region to, take a look at us, see what we have going on, see what we have to offer, programmatically, organizationally, because the train is moving down the tracks and it's going to continue to move, at a great pace. And I think that we have built something really, really great that young people, adults, whether you're into basketball or not, you can find a space and find some time to something that you can connect with here at our building. So I would just encourage everybody to just take a tap in and look at us on social media, follow us on all of our platforms, and come and see us.
And what's the social media handle here?
Philly Youth Basketball. So on all of the social media platforms, very, very easy to find. There we go. It's right behind us. We're on all of the platforms. We're on the Instagram, we're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You know what I mean? All of the platforms are always rocking and rolling. So just take a look at all of our platforms so you can see all the programs that we have for our young people. Thanks.
No, it's been an amazing decade. We got a lot of work still to do. And I think sometimes, Tony and Drew, we project like, we got it going on. It's a finished product. We climb this mountain. There's so many things that we're trying to get better, get right. And there's always opportunities for, people to be involved in all sorts of different ways. Advocates, volunteers, staff team members, committee members, board members. And we say that we're building this organization of, by, for, and with the community. And that's true. I mean, Eric and I were, the two first people to become employees, but we will not be the last. And there's a lot more room to get better and for community people to get involved with us in any number of different ways.
Nice. Well, again, man, thank you guys for taking time out your day.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. Great work. And that's it. Episode of Off the Rip podcast, man.
And follow us on Instagram and got the YouTube series. Go on YouTube to see Old Head. The movie's coming out August 22
On Amazon.
on Amazon
Prime.
Shout out to Pure Fuel and all partnerships that's with Mike J Films and with Philadelphia Youth Basketball. Thank you so much.